Welcome everyone to another edition of Cleve and Me. We are back with the boys, and today we are going to talk about the Super Bowl of wrestling. I say it every single season, probably because football is my favorite sport. You can call it the NBA Finals, you can call it the World Series. Do as you please, the World Cup even. But this is Wrestlemania. We're back for another year of greatness, and we're going to keep going with 2 days as I try to sync up another video in line, and clearly that didn't work first. Tones, I see you geared up as I try to do something quick. Alex from Row 7 is always we got to always get it for the big pay-per-views. I think last time was probably the Royal Rumble. I think you might have joined us, Alex. So we always got to bring you back for the big time. How the hell you doing? And then Tones, let us know what you're wearing. I know you got a hat and a shirt, but Alex, how you doing first off?
Doing great, guys. Glad to be here. Glad to talk some WrestleMania 38, night 1 and night 2. We're going to get into it, so should be fun.
Whoa. You called it wrestling until you say...
Oh, wrestling.
Thank you. We can't start a show. We can't start a show the right way until you do that, so I appreciate that as always. Mr. Tones, what are we repping and how are we doing?
Good, fellas. It's Mania week. You know what that means, baby. We got a good week of wrestling on tap. We got shows on tap. We got everything on tap. I'm actually wearing a Sheamus and Cesaro throwback tag team hat. The bar from their notorious run. They had a great tag team run. And then I'm wearing a shirt. Shout out to Ryu Kendrick. He got me this for my birthday one year, I believe. It's actually an Undertaker riding the bike, and it says the return, and it says burial, return of the dead man, and it's WrestleMania against AJ Styles match. It's got the little Tampa flag on the bottom and everything. I don't know if you could see that, but pretty cool. I don't want to get naked for the camera because it's nothing good to look at, so I don't want to pull it up. And
no, we have way too much to talk about before it cuts us off.
Yeah, it's just incredible to be here, and it's and like you said in the beginning, it is a Super Bowl, but at the same time, it's turning into the NBA Finals because it's 2 days now, and Andre the Giant Memorial's on a Friday. You got Hall of Fame on a Friday, so it's 3 days now. It is turning into the NBA Finals. We're getting days on days here, folks.
And as always, we got the Monday Raw after, and then the Saturday, the NXT pay-per-view is actually on. It starts at 11 o'clock pre-show, noon Central Time, so 1 Eastern, 12 Central. So that's all going to be going down. A lot to talk about, as you said, the Hall of Fame. For those who are watching, please throw us a like, throw us a comment, throw us any questions you got at Cleve And Me on Twitter. But Cleveland, before we get into these 15 matches and 2 nights of the stupendous WrestleMania, what do you got for us? Hello, how are you? I know you're working.
I'm doing all good. Like you guys mentioned, this is a big week for wrestling. We got the Andre Giant Friday, the Hall of Fame, which is also one of my favorite events, honestly. And then we got the 2 nights. I believe the second night will be the best night, but I'm looking forward to this week.
And you know what? That's how we're going to hop right into it. And as always, my brain moves a million miles per hour per second. That's probably why I stutter half the time I talk. I want to throw this at you guys. Instead of just going through one by one, I could drag down the ding card and just keep going. I'm going to start with Alex, then to Tones, and then to Cleveland. And Cleveland, at any time, if you have to skip or do something, that is fine. I'll move on to the next one. Not saying the Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns match. We are going to save that for the end of the show. Any other match you could choose, I'll go first, give you each one to think. You could bring up the match and we're going to talk about it. I'll throw us into the first conversation, and then, like I said, I'll throw it to Alex and the Tones and the Cleve. I'm going to put us in, yes, it's biased because as you could see, if you're on YouTube, you could see my tank top. I am an Indianapolis Colts fan. Who had the Colts? Mr. Pat McAfee. Everyone from the day he was in college getting in trouble for drinking too much to the pros getting fined for everything, what have you. He has not only been successful in his show and on FanDuel, he is in a first WrestleMania match, maybe his last, as he said on Bustin' Open Radio. He's going to put it all out there. I'm very excited for him versus Austin Theory for a few reasons. I don't call this a celebrity match. It's not Knoxville or Paul. This is Pat McAfee, who has been in the wrestling ring with Adam Cole and had very good ratings across the board from multiple, people who rate these things. Also, he's been in the industry a while. Yes, it's mostly announcing, but pre-shows going back years to the WrestleMania 35 that me and Tones attended in New York. NXT pay-per-views. He's been on broadcasting crews. He's been in and out of some scenes like we mentioned with the previous Adam Cole, who's now with AEW. That all being said, boys, we're going to keep it simple. I'll give my prediction right now, and then while I dig the match, and we'll move on to you guys. Tones, lead us off after me. I'm going to go. I'm being biased. I don't even care. Pat McAfee wins it. You know, I know Austin Theory is Vince's boy, but if this could be McAfee's only like I said, I would stutter Mania match, and so I think he's going to get the 1-0 victory. I think it's going to be a longer match. From watching the one with Adam Cole, they did not do anything short. They had a few battles, so I think it'll be a lengthy match with a slight edge. I'm going to go McAfee W. Tones, let's say you.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I like McAfee and what he brings to the table. He's actually impressed when he has been in the wrestling ring and performing wrestling maneuvers and whatnot. For some reason, that bum Austin Theory is Vince McMahon's golden child. I can't stand Austin Theory. To me, he's a bum. But they're probably going to have him win, unfortunately. And, McAfee's going to help put him over the top, in my opinion, because he's going to put on a hell of a show. They're going to put on a hell of a show. It could be one of those 25, 30-minute matches that, include a lot of big jumps, a lot of big falls, a lot of things of that nature. Sadly, obviously, going to include Austin Theory's cell phone probably, so you never know where the hell that could lead to. But let's hope he keeps the peep show at home. I think that McAfee outperforms Austin Theory, if that makes sense. But I think that they sadly have the screw job Austin Theory winning the match, and I hate that because I hate that son of a bitch.
Oh, wow, getting viral on us. Hey, McAfee has called him that like 3 times. Alex, over to you.
You want me to get into that match?
Yeah, your prediction, and do you agree it'll be a lengthy match? If so,
I honestly think that McAfee is going to win this match.
Wow, hey, there we go.
I have been thoroughly impressed with him. I know that, like you mentioned, he's not your typical celebrity. He's actually super athletic. And I go back to what you mentioned in that match he had in NXT with Adam Cole.
Yes,
I thought he did phenomenal. So, in my perspective, I think you got to give the nod to McAfee. There's a good chance going down the road, Austin Theory will probably have many more WrestleMania moments, probably be in a significant title match. So give this one to McAfee, let him steal the show, and then Austin Theory can have his day down the road.
Yeah, at Cleveland. So right now we're 2-1. We're all rooting for McAfee. We all see it as lengthier match, but where are you going?
I'm going Austin Theory. He's the young new talent on the roster. He's being pushed very hard. And I think the right move would be for him to go over at Mania, just seeing how it is his first Mania. But don't get me wrong, McAfee, this is his first Mania too. But I don't think he needs this win as much as Austin Theory needs this win. And I'm a big fan of Austin Theory's tones. I think he's great.
I do agree. Here they go. The rivalry's already started.
He might as well be in Fandango, Breezango.
Throw
him right up there with those guys. Put a scarf on him with cheetah pants. Get that bum out of here.
I think he's a good heel, but we don't even have time to argue with it. 14.
His face off.
Veer's coming Monday. They promised us after millions and millions of weeks and days of waiting, but that's for another time. Alex, what is the match that you're most looking forward to outside of the main event?
I'm honestly looking forward to Edge and AJ Styles.
Yes.
The build, in my opinion, hasn't been great just because a handful of weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, Edge was a face and they did not do a good job in turning him heel, which, that's neither here nor there right now. But I think aside from the build, there's a really good chance that AJ and Edge can steal the show.
Absolutely.
Really have themselves a 20-minute match. But Edge is going to give him a couple spears, and I think that ultimately at the end, AJ is going to hit the phenomenal forearm and 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and Tones, you can come right up after me. This is definitely going to be in that 20-minute range. I agree that it won't be a short match. They might steal the show. The build was a little quick. I do agree with you there. Unless you watch every week, which now, I mean, it's hard to do. There was, it was a quick turn. I thought it was good to have AJ as the face and Edge as the heel, but they could have made it a little longer. I think that's what you're most alluding to, and I agree. I also think AJ Styles wins the match because Edge had a lot of top moments. His comeback, he had the Rumble win. He got to have a rivalry with Orton. He was in the championship main event with Roman and Daniel Bryan last year. I think he's been around. He's going to stay around, but he's mostly here to have great matches and put people over. So I will agree with you 100% and moving on to Tones.
Yeah, this is a tough one, man. I'm looking forward to this match, but I'm going to go with Edge. I think that Edge has the upper hand here, and really, I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. AJ Styles really has been. If you put AJ Styles' WWE career together as a whole and you put him against who he's been against and the rivalries he's been in, it goes right up there with anyone in the WWE. But Edge, I think he's still around for a reason. I think he's going to be a mainstay for a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But I got Edge winning this one.
Yeah, and as we all know, Edge is not going to, it will not be anything where you get one of those quick legend fights. First off, he's there most of the time, so I really won't even, he is a legend, but he's not a part, your part-time typical guy. So Cleve, on to you with your prediction. We have 2 for AJ Styles, 1 for Edge as we speak.
Root against Edge in the last one, so I'm going to go with Edge this time just because, I didn't think he was going to really be around as much as he is now. And, it's cool to see Edge pick up a WrestleMania victory. But hopefully after this match, we can have this could be somewhat like a #1 contender where the winner faces the winner between Brock and Roman. I think that'll be pretty sweet to see Edge in the title picture again. Either one, honestly.
Well, you're talking about the future a little bit. I wanted to say some off that, but we have so much to talk about. Hopefully this leads to some of our surprise comments, which will be at the end of our show. How we're going to do this thing, we're going to run through with our favorite matches. I'll bring up a few, and then we'll get on to rapid fire, and then the damn report from Tones we also have, and then we'll wrap up with our surprises and favorite female Mania moment. So, okay, we got a 2-2 there. That's what I think about this match. It's split down the middle. These 2 superstars, in their own rights, have come through different journeys and just put on, no pun intended, phenomenal matches all the way through. So we heard yours, Alex. I got mine. Tones, what match are you looking forward to that's not the main event or one of the 2 we have mentioned?
Yeah, I can't say KO against Stone Cold because it's technically not a match, but I really am looking forward to that segment. That should be a fun segment. I think Kevin Owens did an incredible job the other week when we were at Raw when he came out as Stone Cold. He got the crowd pissed off, man. They were literally pissed off. But one match I'm really looking forward to that isn't getting a lot of love. I'm looking forward to Charlotte Flair against Ronda Rousey, and I think that Ronda Rousey's comeback. I think it's going to be hype. I think that the triple threat match with them 2 and Becky Lynch was a great match at WrestleMania when we were there in New Jersey. And I think this match lives up to that hype as well with these 2 ladies. And to me, Charlotte Flair is the best ladies wrestler of all time. She continues to dominate in the ring. She continues to be a very, very impressive superstar. And let's be honest, she's one of my favorite superstars. And a decade ago, I probably wouldn't sniff a diva as one of my favorite superstars, and the things that she's done for wrestling and the ladies division that they've done, and Charlotte Flair's ahead of that. And Ronda Rousey, UFC dominant, best UFC ladies fighter of all time, perhaps. It's always fun to see Ronda Rousey in a ring. I can't wait for this one.
Yeah, and before Alex goes, then Cleve as always wraps us out with the final vote.
I'm going. I didn't say who I think is winning.
Yeah.
I'm going Charlotte.
And you know what? I'm going to go Ronda, and here's why I'm going to go Ronda. I think, she's back for a while right now. I think Charlotte's been, she's always in the championship picture, so I think there's going to be a round 2 anyways at the pay-per-view after. So I think Ronda does get this victory, though, when she was the face of WrestleMania. It's interesting. They both lost to Becky Lynch in that event. So now whoever loses this one really is behind the 8 ball in terms of that. But Charlotte can't lose her stature. I think if Ronda loses, it would be it won't be nothing bad because she loses, like you said, the best of all time, if not easily one of the best of all time. So it won't be a knock on her, but it's like, okay, then what's really the deal here? You brought her back right before. You could have saved her maybe to the SmackDown after if that. So I'm just going to go the opposite. I'm going to go Ronda. It's a right down the middle match. I'm going to go about in that 10, 12-minute range if I had to put a time on it. Alex, what are you thinking?
I've been kind of 50-50 on this, but honestly, if I had to give my opinion, I think I probably got to go Charlotte Flair. I think everybody's kind of
hard not to.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of leaning towards Ronda Rousey because she just recently came back to kind of steal the show and win the title from Charlotte. But I'm just not convinced with her performance as of late. And I know she's uber talented. There's not any knocking of that, but just some of her cutting of her promos were not great as of late, and that's kind of what swayed me a little bit more towards Charlotte Flair. And Tones, I think you hit the nail right on the head in saying that Charlotte's probably one of the best wrestlers, if not best female wrestler of all time. So I think everybody's just kind of probably picking Ronda to win. I got to go opposite, and I got to say Charlotte Flair.
And Cleveland, I think you're here. Yeah, we want your prediction. Real quick, I'm going to throw something. I kind of was thinking this up yesterday because she does not very good at promos, Ronda Rousey. How about after Roman's done and everything, Paul Heyman's there for the next 5 years. Throw Paul Heyman as the manager or special counsel for Ronda. You could take care of that real quick. Cleveland, your prediction.
I'm gonna go around on this one. I think it was Tones that made a very good point. Charlotte is the greatest woman wrestler of all time. There's no more debating that. I thought it was Trish Stratus, but it's Charlotte, and I think Ronda needs this victory, seeing how they brought her back for a reason. And it would just be a bad look for her to come back and lose at Mania to Charlotte. And if we were going to go a time, I think they'll give this 20 minutes, honestly.
Hey, and you know what? I mean, if she's the best of all time, they could definitely do it. Tones, real quick thought. Do you think, I think you're about to say something. What do you think about a Paul Heyman idea? Or do you think she's good at what she does on the mic or just could improve?
I'm just picturing Paul Heyman somehow accidentally screwing Ronda Rousey out of a championship and Rousey just putting him in an armbar and screaming in pain on the my God, help. I mean, I think it's possible. I wouldn't say it's impossible, but perhaps someone like Beth Phoenix maybe or something too.
Yeah, and I mean the wild thing about all this is I mean that's just we can't. I know I shouldn't have really even gotten into that route with Paul Heyman, but that being said, it's always fun to talk about a little bit because at some point the Roman Reigns run won't last forever. So Cleve, we're on to you, man. It's all you now. What is your match outside of the 3 we gave and outside of the main event? What are you looking forward to most?
I'm gonna go the tag team match between RK Bro, Alpha Academy. Who else is in that one?
Street Profits.
Street Profits. Yes. I think that would be a really great match. I'm a huge fan of tag team matches, and I love when they put multiple tag teams together, especially these three. So, and if I were to pick a winner, I love Alpha Academy for the victory for that one.
Man. Yeah, Alex, you go first. This one's tough.
No, it is tough, but I'm also a big fan of Alpha Academy. I think Chad Gable has rejuvenated himself to another level.
Thank you.
He's just been phenomenal as of late. I mean, coming from the days where he was Shorty G, where he was, uber talent, but just like a terrible character. I think he's made a full conversion into being a top tier star, which he should be.
Yep.
But in terms of this, I think I'm probably picking them to win, and I have to see a heel turn. I think from Riddle on Orton. I think it's got to happen. I think it's got to happen in this match.
Wow, and that always is an element because the Alpha Academy won't turn on each other. The Street Profits really not the time to turn. If anybody does, it'll be Randy and Riddle. I'm gonna go. I so badly want to go with Alpha Academy, but I'm going to go RK Bro, and I think we're going to have one of those wild scenarios where they're celebrating Monday on Raw, and Randy Orton just does what Randy Orton does. Hey, we're the champs, still RKO's Riddle, and then goes off, and then they have a rivalry that way. Seth Rollins actually did that when he was tag partners with Ambrose. They turned on each other one time and it led them down a bad path. So I'll go with an RK Bro win, but I still think they turn on each other. I'm going to go with a Randy turn versus Riddle, though, but I love either way. Tones, who's your winner in all this 3 fiasco?
Shoosh! I'm going with the boys of Alpha Academy. And let's not forget, this is Chad Gable's been a great tag team guy. He was with American Alpha before when Jason Jordan was in the WWE before he broke his neck and had to become a producer. That tag team was great with Jordan and Gable. Now Gable is back to his great ways, and I couldn't be happier. And Otis, what a transition Otis has had. He went from the goofy big guy who does a worm in the ring to the big serious tough guy who nobody wants to face because he is such a low center of gravity. And I think, Joey, what you said is going to happen for the RK Bro, but they're not going to be champions. I think that they're going to pretend like there's still a tag team that Monday night after, and then Randy Orton's going to walk out on him or something like that. I think they'll be done for, but I don't know if they'll be champions, perhaps.
Well, let me just say this too, since the Street Profits, I think we all like them, but we just didn't have them as our winners, and that's not the hot storyline. They're a very deserving team. They're a great tag team. But really right now, RK Bro is probably one of the top selling merchandise items. They're one of the biggest things going, so you have to talk about them. And then, the Alpha Academy, they came on the scene lately, and they did a really good job in the feud with Randy and them, and also the Street Profits. So no knock on them. It's just not their time at the moment. They'll be around for a while. We all love the Street Profits. So, I wanted to start with each, at least get us a little taste of what we're all liking going into this, because like I said, there's 15 matches. We just talked about 4. What we're going to do is this. We're going to go around one more time because that will take us to 8 matches out of the 15. Then we'll let Tones do his damn report. That'll be a quick intermission for, if anybody on the cam, Cleve, Alex, you need to get a little break, a quick minute. Tones will do his damn report. And then after the damn report, we're going to go rapid fire on the matches we didn't cover now. And then we'll lead off with your Shockamania and women's favorite moment. So I'm going to start once again and give you guys time to think. I could also still kind of read what's left. We have Bianca and Becky. We have the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team Women's. We have Shinsuke and Boogs versus the Usos for the title. We have Ray and Dominic versus Ms. Logan Paul. We have Seth Rollins versus a mystery opponent. Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin. Kofi, Xavier Woods versus Sheamus, Ridge Holland. Lashley, Omas. And the last one we didn't mention is Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville. So I'll take the next one. And I'm going to go with... I'll go with Bobby Lashley versus Omas, and here's why I'm most intrigued by that match. Omas, you really have to put on a show here. It's no just a couple of moves and you pin the guy. We got to see some durability, some stability. Bobby Lashley can let. We've seen him have a nice championship run. He does good in his stable. He's good in his own. He's in phenomenal shape. He stays ahead of the time, if to say the least, in my eyes. Almost, it's time to prove yourself. I'm going to judge you solely off this match. I'm really not going to give you too much credit for what has been done, but at the same time, I'm not going to knock you for what has been done. That all being said, I think it's not for much because I think Lashley gets this big win and finds himself in one of the title picture, depending on what happens with the unification and all that going on. Tones, your thoughts on Lashley Omas?
Yeah, I'm not really looking forward to this match, to be honest. I think it's one of those matches I call the perfect bathroom break, where if it's on, it's
that's trash.
It's not a terrible match, don't get me wrong, but Mania's there's no bad match on the Mania card, right? It's Wrestlemania, so if I were to pass one, it'd be this one. Lashley hasn't been around in forever. Omas has such a limited skill set because he is so big. So it's one of those where I think it's going to be very short. And really, there's no telling what the hell is going to happen. Probably only a total of 5 to 10 moves combined with both wrestlers. And, geez.
Who wins?
I don't know. I can't see any of these. Whatever. They're going to try and put Omas over. So I'd say Omas. But at the same time, Lashley hasn't been around for a while, so if they have big title plans for Lashley, maybe him, but probably Omas, the way they've been trying to put him over.
Alex?
I guess I'm kind of also split in this one as well too. just because it was only a 1 week build to this match. I mean,
not much there.
so we know that WWE is trying to, push Omos as much as possible. And granted, yes, he is 7 foot, whatever, and 400 pounds, whatever he is. I know he's limited. He's still really green in the ring, but I mean, they're probably going to do whatever they can to make him look great. And if Bobby Lashley ultimately needs that shoulder surgery, because that was kind of rumored and speculated, this might be that match to kind of, sell the injury a little bit more and have him be on the show for 4 to 6 months and then have him hopefully come back for around SummerSlam season. So I think it's probably going to be almost in this match.
Man, that would be wild if it just Omas finisher and out. Talk about that would be a big pop for Omas, and then like you said, Lashley could do his thing. You know what? The more I think about it, I'm not totally against that, and the more I think about it, I just saw two behemoths and went with it. That being said, Alex, and give us another match you're looking forward to.
So I know this one is, it's kind of, I guess you can say a mid-card match, but I think there's some drama that could be behind it. Miz and Logan Paul against the Mysterios. I'm looking forward to this because I'd like to see exactly what Logan Paul can bring to the ring. We all know what Miz can bring. He's uber talented, just kind of flies under the radar in a sense and doesn't really get all the credit he ultimately deserves. But I full on expect that there is going to be a heel turn here from Dominic on Ray. We got to kind of mix it up a little bit. They can't be too lovey-dovey father-son anymore. I think it's you got to kind of ruffle the feathers a little bit more and, have I guess kind of put a little bit of a storyline behind Dominic, have him fight for his mask to show like he's earning something. And, if he's got to go through his father to get that, then so be it. I think that's something that WWE can, build behind.
Cleveland, really quick, I saw your face. If you're able to answer, could you give us your prediction on Lashley Omos and really quick your prediction on Miz and Paul versus the Mysterios?
I'll go Omos only because I think Alex made a good point. He said Bobby has an injury, and the best way to write someone off is a loss. You can have Omos just beat him up really bad, and then Bobby's gone for a while. The Rey Mysterio one, I'm not looking forward to the match, but you made a very good, interesting point of Dominic turning on Rey. I know Rey said in the past he doesn't want to wrestle his son, but if it happens, I think that would be a phenomenal passing of the torch moment between the two. So, and if I were to pick a winner, my bad. If I were to pick a winner, I'd go Mysterios versus Miz and Logan Paul.
All right, so we got one in the category of looking forward to. We got one in the category not looking forward to it. What Tones split the difference, and I'll finish it off.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good match at the end of the day. There's some talent, there's some star power in the ring. There's a lot of notability in that ring. 2 future Hall of Famers and Rey and The Miz. So it's one of those matches that definitely draws intrigue. And I think that a little bit of everything, what everyone said is going to happen, perhaps. I think that somehow Rey Mysterio is going to get caught lacking from either Logan Paul or The Miz somehow. And I think that they're going to ultimately pin Mysterio with either a roll-up pin or something along those natures, or, Paul gets ready to tap out. And that night, Dominic might feel bad for him or something. And then I think in the coming week on Raw or Smackdown, whatever the hell they appear on next, I think that's when they're going to be, going out for a tag team match perhaps. And then, Rey's going to be looking to Dominic for help. And I think Dominic's just going to do one of those things where he hops off the ring, walks out, and everyone's kind of just left wondering what the hell's going on. And then it's going to be one of those storylines where, Dominic is like, you're my dad, but you're holding me down a bit. And, it's going to build up a little bit. I agree with what Alex said. I just think it happens maybe a little spread out over time.
Yeah, Miz and Morrison last year to the Celebrity Bad Bunny and that. So I do think I think the Mysterios put on the better show, but I think Miz and Paul steal the dub. And then it does create frustrations between the Mysterios. And I don't know. Yeah, Ray did say before he didn't want to face his son, but it's going to end up.
I had it in a damn report where it was reported that they didn't want to face each other. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we know what Vince does. He does what he wants to do.
Exactly. You stole the words right out of my mouth. So it's always going to be on the table. I am intrigued to see that match because there's a lot of bad blood here. There's a lot of potential, like Alex said. I'm going to give Miz a win because he didn't get one last year. So I'm going to keep it as simple as that. Tones, on to you in the next match you're looking forward to.
Yeah, the next match I'm looking forward to, and I mean, it might not be in everyone's interest or everyone's favorite, but sign me up for some Johnny Knoxville, Sami Zayn behavior.
Hey.
I wonder if Knoxville's going to come out with any members of Jackass. I've seen Wee Man raise some eyebrows, and he said he might make an appearance in the ring. You can never count it out, so you never know what happens with the Jackass crew. If you've seen the new movie, you know that Johnny Knoxville still got that toughness in him. He broke a couple bones in his body when he got upended by a raging bull. Not talking about the Six Flags roller coaster either, but I think it's going to be a fun match. Sami Zayn's one of the most underrated wrestlers in the WWE, in my opinion. He's great on the mic. He has great entertainment skills, and he has great in-ring maneuvers. And at the same time, Johnny Knoxville, not only is he a celebrity, but he's a celebrity who could endure pain. He's flexible, and I think he could perform. I don't think he'll be as good as McAfee or a Bad Bunny, but I think he could be up there as a pretty good celebrity superstar. I really do, and I think that the Jackass guys are going to play a part in it. And as much as I want Sami Zayn to win, I have a shirt. I'm a big Sami Zayn fan. I think they're going to do something funny and creative and have either Johnny Knoxville win clean or have the crew of Jackass have his back.
And unlike some storylines, this one has been really well done. It's been going on since before even the Rumble time. And I'm interested to see Knoxville. Like Bad Bunny last year, who ended up being successful, I'm mostly interested, if you had asked me between Knoxville and Paul, to see Knoxville. He's been a little bit in the ring already. He's been on quite a few segments, as we said, the Rumble as well. So, and I've always liked Johnny Knoxville. He's a risk taker, I know that. So at the end of the day, at the very least, you'll get him to put everything out on the line. I'm going to go Knoxville, win by something stupid. You can't have Sami Zayn just lose clean in the middle of the ring. I don't think that is going to happen. I think some crazy happens where Knoxville gets the victory and laughs and gets to go off, and then Sami Zayn goes into a full-on rage and probably worries about that IC title where we will not see it most likely. Alex, your thought on Knoxville and Zayn?
I am also somewhat intrigued by this match as well, too. I think the build for this one has been fantastic, especially with the leaked cell phone number and Sami Zayn's trying to he can't. I think that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
And I'm also super kind of intrigued as well, too, from a perspective to see what Knoxville can actually do in the ring. I know he's a gritty guy. I'm hoping that he kind of brings something to the table, and I can definitely see some shenanigans happening in this match, and somehow he pulls out a WrestleMania victory. For whatever reason, Sami Zayn is definitely credible in the ring, but another loss is not going to really hurt him just because he's kind of got that comedic side as well, too. So I definitely can see Knoxville kind of stealing one right here.
Hey, go ahead, Tones.
I view Sami Zayn as like a Jamie Moyer type. He's a legend of the game, but he's going to be around 500 when his career ends. And, the losses, there's going to be a lot of them, but they're not terrible losses just because of the effectiveness he's had. I think he's like a Jamie Moyer type.
And that is the first Jamie Moyer reference I've heard in a while. I love it because we're getting close to baseball season with opening day just around the corner. And I'm sure you all will be covering it in the shows you do. We'll talk about
Jamie
that
Moyer
when we wrap up. Cleve, you're here right now. Before we get into the damn report, and I got a question for the group. Do you want to give us a match that hasn't been mentioned you're looking forward to? And your prediction on Knoxville versus Zayn.
Well, I'm looking at a match. I'll get my prediction. I think Knoxville will win just because, they usually don't. Celebrities usually win at Mania, and I think Alex Antone's made a really good point. Sami Zayn can't afford the loss. His character is his character. You really can't. He's sort of a comedic type wrestler at the moment, so it really wouldn't do him damage to lose to a celebrity. However, I think it should be, like you mentioned, with an interference. I don't think it should be a clean loss. Now, that would really damage his character. But I think Knoxville goes over in that match. I'm going to go Becky and Bianca Belair. Honestly, this is a match that we've been waiting for since SummerSlam after Becky stole the title from Bianca Belair, and a lot of people were upset on Twitter, including me. And we get a long storytelling from this all the way from August until now. And if I were to pick a winner, I'm going Bianca Belair gets her title back.
I am actually really looking forward to that match, so I want to take it because I've always, ever since the Mania where she main evented and won, I got the man shirt. I've always been a Becky Lynch fan first off, and I also like Bianca a lot. This rivalry has gone back a long time, even further than Knoxville, and saying all the way back to SummerSlam, where Becky came back and got a big pop, but then she won, which made a lot of people unhappy. I do think Bianca gets her payback here. I think the story comes full circle. Everyone can get over finally that quick match. Bianca Belair gets a huge Mania win and gets to be the title holder. Becky isn't going away. They'll either continue the rivalry or, Trish Stratus has been hanging on the outside, especially a lot in social media. She could get mixed up with a nice legend, but keeping it short, I'm going to go Bianca Belair. Alex, then Tones.
I'm also along the same lines as well too. However, I kind of just want to throw a monkey wrench into it. And
go ahead.
And kind of just say, I think Becky's gonna, somehow walk away with this, and I think that this is potentially going to lead to it because they've kind of hinted at it right now: a hair versus hair match or hair versus title match.
Wow.
At certain points, I mean, I don't know if they'll fully go through with it, just because Becky's kind of known for having her reddish hair, orangish
right
hair. And Bianca, obviously, we know she's got her long hair. So
yep.
This could have some heavy stakes going forward. I ultimately can probably see in the present time Bianca walking away with it, but I would not be surprised if Becky walks away with it and they kind of lead to an extended storyline of hair versus title, hair versus hair kind of match.
I like the creativity. Tones, what are you going to give us? It's a tough one.
I like where Alex's head's at because it gives the opportunity for Becky Lynch to go away for a little bit, because ultimately her and Seth Rollins had a kid not too long ago. One of them's going to have to step away soon for a big portion of time to be with that kid. When the Miz and Maurice had kids, Maurice was a champion not long before that. She stepped away, sadly, and she makes sporadic appearances now, but once you have kids, things change, and I think Becky, I think she wins this one too. I really think she does. And then I think something happens, like a hair versus title match, perhaps. Maybe Becky loses. She's embarrassed that her head gets shaved. We might never see it or something. And then she fades away for a while to come. And, we're not going to see her for a little bit because, when you have a kid, someone has to be home. If Seth is wrestling and she's wrestling, it leaves a gap in the kid's life. So I think that either Becky's going to lose here and we're not going to see her for a little bit, or she's going to win and then lose real quick in a hair versus title match. But either way, I want to expect a lot of Becky Lynch for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and as we get into the second half of the show, there you have it, folks. There's 8 matches we're looking forward to most. Besides the main event, which will be at the end, we're going to go rapid fire on the other ones. But first, we will bring you the damn report from Mr. Tones, the latest and greatest going into Wrestlemania weekend.
Yeah, thanks for making me talk right before.
Hey, I let you get a quick swig of your drink.
Yeah, as it's empty as I, got mothballs. But here we go, the damn report.
Damn.
Here we go, a flash in the pan of all wrestling brands out there around the world. Here we go. Wrestle Talk reports John Cena has high praise for an up-and-coming AEW star. John Cena recently really complimented Max Caster, who kind of represents a John Cena type character. He's a young hip-hop guy in AEW coming up through the ranks. So I think John Cena might see, a little bit of him in him. He had Max Caster, a lot of respect for him. Wrestling Observer reports AEW will not renew Marco Stunt's contract due to budget cuts. So once a big name in their tag team division, especially Marco Stunt, now seems like he's lined up to be a free agent. Watch for his name in a couple outlets and a couple companies. Slice Wrestling has reported that they have landed in Dallas, Texas for WrestleMania. So be on the lookout at Slice Wrestling on Twitter for all the latest and greatest news for WrestleMania. NXT viewership on 3/29, which was yesterday, draws the highest rating since January's Stand and Go Home show. Ms. and Mrs. filming on season 3 set to premiere in June 22. So they're wrapping up the filming for season 3 now, and we're going to be able to view that as soon as June 2022. WrestlingInc.com says on this day in WWE history, at WrestleMania XIX, Trish Stratus defeated Real Lisa Marie and Jazz in a triple threat match to win the WWE Women's Championship. Joey, you and I talked about this earlier today at work, but WWE is showing episodes of Evil now on USA.
Yes,
and
I saw that.
Monday night was the Brothers of Destruction after Raw, and that grabbed 375,000 views actually. So that's a pretty good viewership right there for post Raw. 375,000 people stuck around to watch that. Roman Reigns making an appearance on Raw led to a huge spike in viewership this past week, so that just goes to show how big of a draw he is. Wee Man, I'm potentially getting in the ring. I'm not going to say no. So, we could see Wee Man appearance this weekend. Logan Paul's Instagram followers want Logan to wear a Speedo at WrestleMania. So Logan Paul says he's going to try. We might see Logan Paul in a Speedo this weekend. You might want to cover your eyes. Mojo Raleigh reports Vincent, aka Triple V, the first professional wrestler with Down syndrome, is now officially open for all booking inquiries. 100% of all rates will go entirely to Vincent and his family. Email info at theparagong.com for more info about that. WWE and wrestling reporter Dave Meltzer got into a weird altercation with rapper Wale on Twitter today. Wale tweeted that when he was at WrestleMania 2, well, he called it Wale Mania, he hit a J, meaning a joint, with Jim Ross. And Dave Meltzer told Wale that he never met Vince McMahon before. Dave Meltzer tweeted back at Wale, "Not true, met him a number of times." Wale said, "Yes, but I promise you I asked you and you said no, you never met him. I found out later that you have. I don't know if he was working me or didn't hear me, but I 100% asked you." And they kind of kept going back and forth a little bit. And then, the WWE released their superstar schedule for their big weekend this weekend. On Friday, you can meet the Bella Twins at 2 to 6 at Fitterman Sports. Goldberg from 2 to 6 at Fitterman Sports. This is all in Texas, by the way. Finn Balor on Saturday from 10 a.m. to noon. And Sunday, The Undertaker from 10 a.m. to 2. And Shawn Michaels 1 to 3. The statue for The Undertaker will be revealed tomorrow. John Cena misses wrestling and gives thoughts on a potential full-time return. He really said that he might return full-time. And last but not least, Paul Heyman says MJF has a big future ahead of him.
Well, first off, I would love to see John Cena full-time. My kid would come out. You all know that. Number two, talk about another guy who would be great with MJF. That would be Mr. Paul Heyman. But we have too much to talk about. Thank you for the damn report. Since you gave me a buzz of energy from that news leading into the great weekend, I want to hit two things at once. And, Tone, since I just made you go back to back there, I'm going to throw Alex this first crack before we get back in the circle. And I see, Cleve, you're also with us. I want to get your shock moment in Mania. It could be literally anything. You could go anywhere with it. I know a direction we'll get to at some point, but I'm interested to hear everyone's thoughts. And then this might lead in with the shock moment, but if you had a $100 bill and you had to say Seth Rollins, since we didn't bring it up before, his opponent, you would either get Shane McMahon, who's been down there, Goldberg, who, as Tone just alluded to in the Dime Report, is down there, Cody Rhodes, who's the biggest rumor, or other. Where are you going out of those four options, and what's your shock moment for this WrestleMania?
You want me to start on this one, or you're?
I want you to start on. Or do you want me to start and you think about this a second?
Go for it.
Okay, so here's my thought on the whole thing, and I was actually talking to Alex before the show, and after seeing everything that's come out, I've come to the conclusion that WrestleMania 38 is not going to have Cody Rhodes in a match. I think I also talked about Tones with this at work today in the break we had. I think what's going to happen is Vince McMahon, because he has this card. We know he's signed. That's not the issue anymore. The part is, when is it going to come? This is the biggest thing to me since Brock Lesnar rejoining after the UFC, where he took Cena out. And everyone was like, holy crap, Lesnar's back and he's doing damage. I think they're going to save Cody Rhodes, and it's going to be Shane McMahon who comes out. Here comes the money, gets booed like crazy. Vince McMahon's laughing on the television screen. He gets in the ring with Seth Rollins, and we get after the match, whatever precludes from it, because I don't really know what would happen in that. You would hope Seth would win, and I think he would. And then I think we'll get Cody Rhodes, either his music, and then we see him on the screen, or he actually does a full entrance and it's just a face-off inside it. I truly don't think we're getting that match, so I think I'm going to go Shane McMahon, and they really trick us things up. And then my shock moment on top of that, since we're going to kill two birds in one stone, I'm going to save time and keep it as that, because I think that would be very shocking if all of a sudden Shane McMahon comes out, and then for that, however long the match is, 15 minutes, everyone is just super pissed off until we get Cody Rhodes. Now I'll leave it to you, Mr. Alex.
So I tend to agree with you on that. I know we talked about it before the show. I'm going to swerve it a little bit and go a little bit different route on the match that we actually, or a segment that we did talk about, the Kevin Owens show, where he has Stone Cold come back. I think the shock moment is obviously Stone Cold being a Texas guy and Undertaker being a Texas guy. I think during this segment, Kevin Owens takes advantage of Stone Cold, maybe attacks him from behind or has somebody else kind of help interfere with that. And I think the Undertaker comes in to make the save, and kind of they have a big bash and kind of chug some beers at the end of that segment. And I'm hearing, and I think it's rumored, I don't know if it's actually been confirmed or not, but they're looking to close the show. I think is that Saturday?
Correct, Saturday night with that.
Okay, I think that's my shock moment right there. I think Taker comes back, one last hurrah. No, maybe a couple boots, maybe a tombstone or a choke slam, and then I'm out.
Well, since it is ending the show, I really like where your head's at with that. I'm putting my hand up to see that all day. Great thought there. Tones, and then Cleveland, I'm going to give you those couple things as well, and one more, since I don't know how long we have you. Tones, you first.
If I had to pick his opponent, perhaps, I'll go with Goldberg. I'll be different. I think that Goldberg will perhaps face him, and we'll see what Seth Rollins might escape with that one. And I think Cody Rhodes comes after. I've been saying for a while now, I don't think we're going to get him at Mania, because all the big pops come the Monday and Friday after usually. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to stay consistent with that. And then the biggest surprise I have at Mania is we're going to see a John Cena appearance. Where there's smoke, there's fire. He's been talking about returning to the WWE. He's only missed one Mania before. He's talking up young AEW stars. So, he's talking a lot about wrestling. His name's been in wrestling rumors a lot lately. Now, whether it's just a promo, a vignette, you get an actual match, whatever it might be, I think we're going to see him in some capacity, whether it's virtual or in person.
Here's a thought before Cleveland talks. Why not bring back the Wrestle 30 at 5 moment where he screwed Elias? So this time Cena comes out, hey-ho to the crowd. Then we finally get Elias back, and he just goes crazy on John Cena and destroys him. Wild thought, probably never going to happen, but at least it has some creativity, more than some can say sometimes. Cleveland, your shock moment, and who faces Mr. Seth Rollins?
I can see the Undertaker facing Seth Rollins. I know it's
it's
crazy, but he's gonna be in town. Alex mentioned he is from Texas. He is known as Mr. WrestleMania. I mean, Undertaker is synonymous with Mania, so why won't? I mean, I like that idea, actually. Undertaker comes out, big boot Seth, tombstone Seth, and then Seth comes out tomorrow, complains about what happens, and then boom, Cody Rhodes comes out. So I'm liking that idea, actually. And then what was the second question again?
What's your surprise moment? Do you got anybody coming back? Do you got a big upset victory? What do you think's going to leave some people being a little shocked at WrestleMania this year?
I like the idea Tone said with John Cena. I just like to look at Dr. Thugonomics. What was that, 2 years ago, I believe?
It was at WrestleMania 35. Yep.
So 3 years ago, so it was one of those moments no one was really expecting. And don't forget, the year before that, he had a match with The Undertaker too, and a lot of people wasn't expecting that to go through either. So I could see Cena making a return, honestly.
Well, since I have tones, before we get back to Cleve, quick go. What do you got?
I think actually I might change my Goldberg pick too, and if I go other, I'm gonna throw Kurt Angle's name in the hat.
Wow.
They said he was building up to show up at WrestleMania back in January 31st. They reported that Kurt Angle and WWE have agreed to him appearing at WrestleMania. Then quietly, rumors got scrapped. They said, actually, no, we don't have plans for Angle. To me, that was kind of shady because Angle confirmed that there were plans for him. WWE confirmed there were plans for him. Then something just happened where it fell apart. So what if all of a sudden you hear din, 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 and Kurt Angle comes walking out like a Ninja Turtle? I could see it.
Hey, that would be. I love. See, this is what I thought. I love the creativity here. Is hey, shout out to Casey for wrestling, for Life Wrestling Takes. We've been missing you, bro. It's been a while. We hope to get you on some shows in the future. I know Buck, what you heard, wants to be joining us. Mr. Mark Dyke, and we have a lot of great guests coming post Mania season, heading into Hell in a Cell. But back to the task at hand, man. So much good thought flowing. Cleveland, you still here? Yes, you are. You want to give us before we dive right into it? Let's go with the main event before we do rapid fire. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, biggest match of all time, unification of the titles. They do not explain exactly what's going to be happening. Personally, I would love if they brought back the heavyweight title and just made it the WWE Universal title. But I don't know what they're going to do. That being said, give us your predictions and thoughts on this match. Are we going to walk out very pleased, as I think we will be?
I think whoever wins, I think the crowd will be satisfied. Brock Lesnar's new face, his new character in general, is receiving a lot of positive feedback from the audience and
They
people
love it.
online. Same with Roman Reigns. Just we talked about it so many times. Just not even almost 2 years ago, Roman couldn't cut a promo to save his life. His matches weren't the best, and now he's the top dog in the business at the moment. This is tough. You know, my grandma asked me the same question. My grandma's going for Brock Lesnar because she's not a Roman fan at the moment, but I'm going Roman. I think he's been the best that WWE has presented in the last year. And I think to really make him seem as the top dog, he has to slay Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, man, if that does happen, Lesnar, this rivalry has obviously coming to an end as they've been putting on great matches for a little while now. But, you can only go to the well so many times. I really want to go with Brock Lesnar. I'm going to be rooting for Brock Lesnar. I like his face character a lot. I love his interaction with the crowd. He got the what chant going the other night. He's like, go ahead, y'all can do it. Showing another side to him that even the locker room really enjoys. And he's been on TV a lot in the, last year. So, people who say part-time, he really hasn't been as of late. But I'm going to go Roman Reigns because he's in God mode. He's the face that runs the place. He's going to be, I truly think until Rock plays a factor, he is not going to lose this title. That's been my thought from about a year ago. I'm not going to go back on it now. Tones, then Alex. What are we thinking here? We got 2 for Roman. It seems like people are rooting for Brock, but you get a bet with your heart. Tough call.
Yeah, I think Brock's going to win this one for sure. I think he's the best in the industry in terms of box office revenue. People want to see Brock Lesnar. The WWE knows that, and they're going to, continue his winning ways. No one should ever be surprised at this point when Brock Lesnar wins or when he comes in for Rumbles or Money in the Banks. He often emerges victorious, and this is just like any other of those times. He's going to walk away victorious. How can you make? I mean, Brock Lesnar is, if aliens invaded planet Earth, Lesnar's one of the first guys to come to mind if you had to pick one guy to represent Earth to, try and fight him off. So shout out to Ian Beckles and Jay Retcher for saying that the other day on Beckles and Retcher.
I remember that.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar is going to win this match.
All right, Alex, are you going to tie it up and make it 2-2, or is Roman Reigns just too tough to take out at this point?
Well, if I had to call it, I mean, my heart says Brock Lesnar because his Brock Lesnar character is just he's next level for me right now.
Yep.
He's just so relatable to the fans, and the fact that this new character, this new side of him is coming out with him, having the microphone and being kind of friendly and being that face has really made me warm up to him. And I've always really been a fan of him, but I think this has kind of put me over the top. However, I probably got to go Roman Reigns because when you really think about it, this loss is not going to really damage Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar has lost before to the likes of Roman Reigns. So if in the case that, he were to lose, it's not going to be the end of the world. Maybe he's off TV for a couple months, comes back and is right, right in the same spot he was before. I think this loss right here would be much more damaging to Roman Reigns. And where does he go from here? So I probably got to go Roman Reigns winning it all. And I mean, probably taking it to next WrestleMania potentially, unless WWE comes up with a storyline to kind of either bring somebody up or, push somebody to the moon to kind of dethrone Roman Reigns. But until I don't see anything happening.
What if Paul Heyman screws him at Mania and Brock turns heel and just,
Wow, I was going to ask, is it a clean win?
No, I don't think it's a clean win. And I think that's a fantastic point. I really wasn't thinking about it from that perspective, but the Paul Heyman factor, I mean, you've seen what that tweet that he put out a couple weeks ago with the action figures where he was, where Roman Reigns was standing over Brock Lesnar, but there was John Moxley in the background or Dean Ambrose in the background. I think there's going to be some type of shenanigans. I'm not saying it's going to be anything with anybody from AEW involved, but I do think something
that would be wild.
It would be absolutely ridiculous. I mean, talk about Forbidden Door.
Right. Wow.
Forbidden Door times 10,000. But I mean, that's also realistic possibility right there, Tones. I mean, anything can happen. I mean, either way, I don't think anybody goes home upset, in my opinion, but that's just me.
And hey, that's where we like it. We got to get creative here because there's gonna this. I mean, they're calling the most stupendous night. Vince McMahon, he's gonna put on a show. That's what they're there for, entertainment, and that's what the WWE does. We're gonna go rapid fire, fellas, with these other matches because I want to get into a couple other things. So we're literally just saying rapid fire winners, and we're just gonna keep going round and round. We'll just keep it the same order to keep it easy. I'll start. I'll give it to Tones, to Alex, to Cleveland. We're gonna start with this match right here. Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin. McIntyre's winning with the sword at the end. Tones.
Happy Corbin gets vengeance for Madcap Moss.
McIntyre.
Cleve.
Drew.
All right, 3-1 there. Next match is a 2-on-2. Kofi and Xavier Woods versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. I'm going Kofi and Xavier Woods to make a nice little moment for Big E to be watching on TV. Tones.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get how, Ridge could win this at this point in time. I'm going with Xavier Woods and Kofi as they stripped Xavier's a King Woods title.
They did. Alex?
Kofi and Xavier. They have to have a WrestleMania moment, like you said, for Big E. It's necessary.
Yep. Cleve?
New Day.
All right, so hey, we're all in agreement there. We just had 4 predictions. Now we have 4 teams. This one can get a little bit of skin in the game because I'm really interested to see where y'all go in this fatal 4-way between the women's. I think this will be a low-key really good match because you involve pretty good wrestlers, and they, you don't have to have them all in the ring at the same time. Sasha and Naomi, one team. Rhea and Liv, another. Natalya, Shayna, and then the champions, Carmella and Queen Selena. I'm going to go Sasha and Naomi. That's where my heart and my brain are at. Tones?
I'm going to go Rhea and Liv because I think Sasha and Naomi, well, especially Sasha, she's too big for the tag team picture perhaps, so I think she'll be pushing for the main title soon. And I think Liv and Rhea are perfect for tag team type champions because they both deserve belts.
I'm right there with you, Tones. Liv and Rhea, like you said, nail right on the head. Sasha Banks and as far as I'm concerned, Naomi really don't deserve to be tag team champions. They deserve a much bigger push than just tag team titles.
I agree with everything you said, and I won't mind if Liv and Rhea win. Cleveland, are you going with the champs, or are you going to leave? Are we leaving them all high and dry?
I'm going Sasha and Naomi. I'm feeling this tag team they've been going on, and they both really don't have a clear direction. So why not put them in the tag picture and elevate that division?
Okay, and we move on. Hey, we only chose 2 teams, so watch it be Carmella and Queen Zelina squeak out. Next, the SmackDown Tag Teams Championships. Do the Usos, the Bloodline, carry those titles along with Roman, as we all think, minus Tones, or does Shinsuke and Rick Boogs get the win? I'm going to go with Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura for the win. I think they're crowd favorites. McAfee gets them going. I think the Usos can still be on the side of Roman without the titles just as easy as they've done before. Let's go, Ricky Boogs.
Yeah, I mean, Shinsuke, they have to try and keep him happy, and to me, they're going to maybe put a title around his waist to do that. I think Shinsuke and Rick Boogs win.
Alex?
I got to go Usos on this one. I think Bloodline, reigns supreme WrestleMania night.
And Mr. Cleve, are you here? He might not be here. Oh, you are.
I agree with Alex. I think this is the Bloodline's WrestleMania, so I'm going to Usos.
I think they fall apart this Mania. I think opposite.
And yeah, I'm here for all of it. And what I mean by that is just give me chaos. Just give us something great to talk about in our follow-up shows. Well, hey, I mean, we've hit a ton of things every match in the book to this point. So here is what we're going to do for the last segment. I definitely want, as we get out of here, because we're coming up on an hour, I really appreciate your all time. It's Mania season. I'm feeling it. I told Tones I'm going to be watching some old Manias now. I just feel like once we do the show, this kicks off my week to really gear into action. That being said, I want to give an interesting fact. The last 2 people to pinfall Roman Reigns, and this was before his heel turn, obviously, Baron Corbin and Rowan were the last 2 men to pin Roman Reigns, which was over 500-600 days ago. So a little bit wild there, but that was a different character as well. This is how we're going to do it, and I'll start to give you guys time to think if you haven't already. We're going to go around the room and say our woman's moment. We're also going to go around the room. I want to hear what these guys are working on, what's their latest, because as much time as they give me, I want to hear what's coming on their shows and all that good stuff. So I'll start it off. As always, people, Cleve and Me, go at it on Twitter. The podcast will have a follow-up show next week. Hopefully get everyone back, if not more. We have plenty of old faces, new faces coming along. Woman's moment. It's going to be more recent. It's going to be a little biased because I was there. But seeing Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair in the main event last year of night 1 at WrestleMania in Tampa, Florida was awesome. Just simply seeing their energy and passion. They came out. They shared a moment right when they rang the bell, and Bianca, they both had tears in their eyes. They were the main event. And they put on a great show on top of it. So to me, it brought sentimental value on top of being there, and a great match on top of that. So that will always, even though I went to the WrestleMania 35, I know I could easily went to Ronda versus Becky versus Charlotte. I didn't. I went with Sasha and Bianca, and yeah, it was awesome. Tones, you want to go?
I mean, when we were in New Jersey, it's hard to not say,
It is hard not to.
That triple threat match. It was Charlotte Flair flew in on the chopper, I think.
Yep, she did.
And then, Ronda Rousey, a Joan Jett player introduction live in attendance. And then Becky Lynch was really on top of the world at that time. And, that was the inaugural Women's Andre the Giant memorial too, as well. I remember Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott had a good showing. Just a good time.
And what's coming? Anything you want to share with us? Latest and Bucketeers coming up? I know it's the off season, but anything coming?
Yeah, we'll have a new episode in the coming days. We just got a new introduction for the show, and we just put that out, so that's pretty cool. We're going to look into more things over the off season, perhaps new T-shirts coming out around schedule release. We're going to have all you gentlemen will get one of those, and follow us on Instagram now. We do have an Instagram at Bucketeers Pod. That's new, and then our Twitter's still Bucketeers, YouTube page Bucketeers Pod, and then obviously I'll be announcing baseball games on Thursdays this year with Mac McGee on the Armchair Quarterback, so that should be pretty fun. And then me and Billy here and there, we're gonna shoot the shit and do cardboard and Cracker Jacks every
if that kid ever pulls out of the ground, he's like Groundhog Day, but I love the Bucketeers, what you're doing, and I love all that good stuff with the baseball games. Mr. Alex, your woman's moment and anything going with row 7 coming up.
So this one's going to be a little odd. More recent as well, too. WrestleMania 36. It was in front of 0 fans. It was yes, very odd, but it was definitely intriguing because it was a little bit of sense of normalcy when the world was not normal.
Yes,
in the least.
Amen.
But I'm going to go Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair for the NXT title. That was really when Rhea was like on top of the world in NXT, and then she was, headed to the main roster. I think everybody thought that she was going to get pushed to the moon right there, but they pulled in a sense, an upset. Charlotte Flair walked away with that NXT title and kind of, really solidified herself as a dominant woman in WWE. So that's a moment that definitely transcended to me because it was out of nobody. So,
and then anything coming with row 7 coming up? Anything? What do you got?
Yeah, so working on a little bit of doing some digging and kind of crunching some numbers to kind of see if I can put together a MLB season preview.
All right.
And then also I am also doing some additional research to kind of put NBA playoffs and finals kind of podcast together. So got some things coming down the pipeline.
Well, hey, if you ever want someone to chat NBA, just let me know. I would love to. Baseball, I love baseball, but unfortunately my Tones gives me crap all the time. My knowledge gets worse by the year, it seems, unfortunately. But that being said, between the Buccateers, row 7, check it all out as they give us time. Let's do the same from the Cleve and Me side of things. Mr. Cleve, before we get out of here, what's your all-time woman's Mania moment? I hope you take us back in time because you usually do. And us three went the last. Oh no, you're not. You're not taking us back.
I am taking you guys back.
Yes.
That's the greatest WrestleMania, in my opinion, ever. WrestleMania 17, China versus Ivory. The match wasn't the best, but it was China's last match really with the company before she was let go, and China picks up the victory after suffering a severe neck injury a few months earlier. So if you guys want to check that match out, I think it's really a really good match, actually. Is that it? Just a month?
Yeah, that's hey, that's
out. Get out of here! Come on.
Oh my goodness! Well, hey, I wish we had time to talk so much more. There, plenty going on in the football off season. Our favorite teams are coming up with the Cubs and Sox. NBA playoffs are right around the corner. Let's go Bulls! Hopefully, the Lakers aren't a part of it as they keep struggling. And now Russell Westbrook was crying today. It's great to see things like that. No, I'm just kidding. I know Cleve's a little disappointed over there, but for everybody join us, from Alex from row 7, from Tampa Tones, from Buccateers, of course, Cleve from Cleve and Me. God bless. Good night, everyone. I hope you enjoy the WrestleMania preview. Enjoy WrestleMania.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man.